Hi, this is Frode and welcome back to Actualize Notes TV. Today we have another great book, the Dhammapada by the Buddha. The Dhammapada by the Buddha, introduced and translated by Eknath Easwaran. We've already featured another book on the Buddha by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings, so you can check out that one if you'd like. And we also featured another translation by Eknath Easwaran, which is the Bhagavad Gita, another book packed with ancient wisdom. And the Dhammapada is, as I said, a collection of the Buddha's teachings, and it's packed with a lot of practical ideas we can apply to our lives today. And those ideas will be the focus of our session now. Here are 5 of my favorite big ideas. We'll find more of them in the Actualized Note, 6-page PDFs. So let's look at my 5 favorites. First one is, what's your vow? So Eknath tells us the story of how the Buddha became enlightened. After 6 years or so walking around in the forest and performing some really ascetic practices, tormenting his body and creating a lot of physical pain for himself to detach himself from his physical body. Really important for those who want to master themselves, apparently. But he couldn't do it. He couldn't create the concentration he needed in order to become enlightened. So what he eventually did was that he sat under a Bodhi tree, I think it was. And he made a vow that, come what may his bones rot and be reduced to ashes, or something like that. He would not get up before he became a fully enlightened person. And long story short, he became an enlightened person that dawn, after about one entire day of sitting and meditating. And what's really inspiring about this is the vow that he created to not get up before he became enlightened. And it reminds me of Jim Rohn, the business philosopher and motivational speaker, in his book 7 Strategies of Wealth and Happiness, who talks about the word resolve. And he says that resolve is kind of exemplifies 2 of the most important words, 2 of the most powerful words in the English language. Those words are I will. Resolve says I will. Come what may, I will do this. That's the question. What do you resolve to do? What's your vow over the next 5 years? What's the number one thing that is most important for you to accomplish? And are you ready to make a full, total commitment to make it happen? As Emerson says, enthusiasm is one of the most powerful engines of success. When you do a thing, do it with all your might. Be all in. My vow over the next 5 years is to read 1,000 books on optimal living, and then distill them into 6-page PDFs, 20 to 30 minute MP3s, and 10 to 20 minute ANTV episodes over these next 5 years. Okay, what's your vow? Next big idea, meditation gains. Ishwaran tells us a story of how one skeptic came over to the Buddha and asked him, what have you gained through meditation? And the Buddha answered, nothing at all. But then, the Blessed One, why do you do it? He asked. And the Buddha said that, let me tell you what I have lost through meditation. He has lost sickness, the fear of death, anger, and all other kinds of emotions that we don't want to experience. So we don't meditate to gain something, especially material things. Or we might meditate to have a spiritual progress and gain willpower, that we'll talk about. But we don't meditate to really gain anything physical outside of ourselves. So, but what happens when we meditate is that we gain, actually, willpower. Willpower in our mind. The studies have shown that your gray matter in your brain actually becomes more dense, and it changes physically when you meditate for a few weeks, about 20 minutes or a day or so. And what that helps you do is to step between the gap of stimulus something happens and you have a certain feeling of anger, fear, you feel craving or anything like that, and response. You respond impulsively without having a conscious choice. Meditation helps us step between stimulus and response and create a conscious choice. Yes, I'm having intense cravings for chocolate right now, but I choose to not eat chocolate. Maybe have a salad or a carrot, but not chocolate. Or someone might insult me and say very many nasty things that I don't like, and then I feel pretty angry. Therefore, the usual response would be to get angry and insult them. But since I can step between stimulus and response, since I meditate daily, warm up and train my mind, I can just take a deep breath and remind myself of the wisdom that whenever a person insults you or does harm to you in any kind of way, that's because they feel bad about themselves. Okay, so another thing about meditation is that when we went to the Vipassana meditation retreat, 10-day meditation course where you meditate for 10 plus hours every single day, I learned something quite extraordinary. Almost everyone was able to do it, so we have way more willpower than we think. And after the course, it became easy for me to meditate 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the night, deleting 1 hour of sleep per day. So it's kind of like spending 1 hour on meditation per day. And before I was only doing 20 minutes, but right now I can see much more powerful results of doing what I need to do, when I need to do it, whether I feel like it or not, since I meditate. Master my mind, can feel unpleasant feelings when I sit down to do this work or go for a work, or I'm going to go for a workout and don't really feel like it, and do those things anyway, because I know these are just sensations and feelings, and they're going to go away. Long story short, are you meditating? If not, here's a really simple technique if you want to start meditating. If you are new to this, it's good to start with 1 or 5 or 10 minutes. So there are four steps. First step is sit down in a room by yourself, on the floor or in a chair. Sit with your back straight and close your eyes. Second step is pay attention to the sensation of your breath coming in and out of your nostrils. You can feel it inside your nose or on your lips or anywhere around this area. Then, third step is every time your attention wanders, you start thinking about a clever response you could have made in the past to someone, or as an exam, a test, or a project or a workout you're going to do in the future. Then you just bring your attention back to the sensation of your breath. What this does is it helps you step between stimulus and response. When you think a certain thought about the past, you can bring your attention back to the present without getting caught up in your past. When you think about the future, you can bring your attention back to your present without being caught up in the future and experiencing all those unpleasant emotions. Step 4, after you have learned to bring your attention back to your breath, is to repeat step 3. Every time your mind wanders, you start thinking about anything, you bring your attention back to your breath. This is basically what I do for 1 hour each morning and each night. And also, no, we'll leave it at that. Okay, good meditation technique. Third big idea, the paradox of selfishness. So, the paradox of selfishness is quite simply, we might perform selfish acts because we think it will make us happier. So we buy a bag of cookies and give none to our family or friends. Or we might become angry at someone and lash out at them because it feels good to be angry. Something we'll talk more about. And but the reality is we perform selfish acts because we think it'll make us happier, but they actually make us unhappier. That's what I like to call the paradox of selfishness. And one small example is that when I was at the airport in Oslo, in Norway, and was waiting for the next plane, I saw some birds outside of the airport, just outside the doors. And I had just bought a delicious baguette and started eating it. But instead of selfishly eating the entire baguette myself, I went out to the birds and started feeding them. And every time I fed them and those cute little creatures took the food, I got small bursts of joy. Much more joy than if I had taken the whole baguette myself. So that's a real mundane example. Another example, when I talk to people and they remind me of an idea I have taught in these videos or read in a book, I often go on a monologue because I get really excited. So I get off in a monologue and talking about the idea for a couple of minutes without letting the other person into the spotlight. What I notice is that connection goes down and I feel bad about myself for selfishly talking all the time, not letting them talk. When I let them talk, I give them the gift of silence, not saying much, then it feels much better. Paradox of selfishness. We perform selfish acts because we think it'll make us happier, but it actually makes us unhappier. How can you be more selfless today? Fourth big idea, drops of water. Great quote. Little by little, a person becomes evil, as a pot is filled by drops of water. Little by little, a person becomes good, as a pot is filled by drops of water. In short, every single thing we do matters. It'll make us a better person or a worse person. And this goes for both for our thinking and for our habits. In the compound effect, Darren Hardy echoes this wisdom with a glass. If you pour dirty water into a glass, all of the water will eventually become dirty. And this is a metaphor for our mind. But if you pour pure water into the glass, all of the water will become pure. If you pour pure water into an impure glass, all the water might become pure. If you pour impure water into a pure glass of water, then everything might become impure. So what are you feeding your mind? Are you feeding it only with impure water of hitting news or social media updates or the latest television programs? Or are you feeding it with pure water of good information like this that you can use to change your life, to become a better person? Clear on that. And our habits. What's the number one habit you need to stop doing in order to become a better person? And now, what is the number one habit you need to start doing in order to become a better person? Pour some good, clean water into the glass. Alright, when it becomes good or evil, everything happens by drops of water. And finally, fifth big idea, anger plus equanimity. I think it's S. Rubenthal who introduces each chapter in the Dhammapada. And he says that when the Buddha talked about anger, he said that we needed to renounce all anger, even righteous indignation, when we know that we are fully right and the other person is wrong, that it's still not right for us to be angry at them. Because the Buddha was more, it was more important for him with mental states than being right. Because if we're angry, we can't have equanimity. And having equanimity means having a balanced mind. And if we don't have a balanced mind, we can't control what we do and what we don't do. So anger disrupts our equanimity, therefore we have to renounce all of our anger. Since it's a bad mental state and only pollutes us, makes us evil people. Okay, by the way, when we're angry at other people, it just comes back way worse. You might have noticed. Okay, anger plus equanimity. How are you doing with your anger management? Can you try to calm down a bit? Maybe take a deep breath when someone insults you or something bad happens? Drops of water. What are you feeding your mind with? And what habits are you stopping and starting? Paradox of selfishness. Do you perform something selfish because you think it'll make you happy? What can you do that's selfless? To explore, just experiment to see whether it makes you more happy. Meditation gains. We don't meditate to gain any material things. We do it to gain spiritual progress and lose anger, fear, and all those unpleasant emotions. Not emotions, but unpleasant mental states that we can choose to accept and just observe. And what's your vow? Over the next 5 years, what are you committed to creating in your life? That's a really quick look at the Dhammapada, introduced and translated by Eknath Easwaran. Our next book will be The Plant Paradox. Good book on nutrition. Some fascinating research on something called leptins, which is really bad for our gut bacteria. We'll dive into that. For now, what's the number one idea that jumped out at you, that most resonated with you, and inspired you to take some action right now? And what's the first step you can take towards embodying this idea more consistently in your life starting today? Okay, get clear on that. I'm looking forward to share more wisdom with you soon. I want you to have an awesome day, and let's actualize so we can change the world together. See ya.
Hi, this is Frode. You might know me from the work I do on YouTube, but I also want to tell you that you can gain access to a ton of more wisdom at my website, Actualizer.me. And here, I focus all of my energies on answering the question, how can I help you actualize your life on a day-to-day basis? Because I know that even though you want to actualize your life and develop yourself, you're too busy to read all day. And that's why I'm all about sharing wisdom made practical. Fun, inspiring, and practical wisdom you can apply to your life immediately. And I do it through something I call Actualized Notes, which include big ideas from 100 plus of the best and most transformative books on optimal living. It's notes from a fellow actualizer who wants to embody and help you embody these ideas more consistently in your life. And these actualized notes include 100 plus practical PDFs, which is 6-page PDFs with condensed wisdom ready for use. These are recorded into 100 plus MP3 guides, because all ANs are recorded as MP3 so you can actualize on the go. I also create 10 to 20 minute ANTV episodes, which I upload on YouTube. And these are again converted into MP3 files so you can get access to them on the Actualize podcast. And all this work includes over 750 big ideas from ancient philosophers, modern scientists, and your own common sense, explained for easy use. You can gain instant access at my website, Actualizer.me, and you can get a free 30-day trial, and then it will be $10 per month. You can cancel it whenever you want, and I price the membership program so low, so you can tap into practical wisdom no matter how you're standing financially. Alright, I hope you'll join me on this hero's journey of actualizing our potential. See ya.